features we noticed at the waterfall was the undercut ledge that you can see there.
For a tourist site, this is really busy. You don't have to pay for entry here. There are very sort of weak structures of staircases. You have a metal one going around there.
So there's a lot of vegetation, as you can see, a lot of mosses and lichens, and that's they're pioneer species that started to colonise what was initially bare substrate. And if we look towards the top of the waterfall, the species are getting more developed. You've got stuff with flowers as opposed to the plain grass and moss lichens that you can see towards the middle and bottom of the waterfall.
Okay, in terms of the actual source of the water, you can see we've got several waterfalls coming all the way down here and across there. So this will make it, we're presuming that this water is coming from meltwater from the mountains.
And finally, as you can see by the large amounts of different types of rocks and the angles and the joints and cracks within them, you can see there's clearly been a lot of tectonic activity.
We're here in Jaime Island. I'm about to go collect some ground temperature data by climbing up this big volcano here. We just come across on the ferry from mainland Iceland.
So this is a temperature probe, and basically what we're going to be doing as we walk up the volcano cone here is at regular intervals, we're just going to crouch down, choose a nice little spot, stick the probe close in, and wait for the little degree sign to show. And that, bam, 11.6.
We have to measure the lichens because they can show us the age of the lava bin. What I'm going to do here is take this tape measure and measure at its widest point. That looks like 6 centimetres to me. And I give that information to Nick.
I'm making a note of the GPS, which is basically where we are.
So what's quite interesting to note, so we've now moved into this kind of red rock.
There you go.
Pre-scenes.
You can see that the closer we get to the summit, the more iron there will be, so the redder the rocks will be.
The eruption occurred on the 23rd of January 1973 at 2 AM and approximately 12 metres of ash covered the building standing right.
There was only one recorded fatality, and that was from toxic fume inhalation. Other than that, there was a significant impact on wildlife.
400 houses got destroyed in this eruption.
There was some benefits to the eruption. There was 980 metres of new land built. The harbour was expanded and it was made safer.
Hi guys, welcome to day 2. This is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge.
The two ridges that are moving away from each other and on divergent plate boundary are the Eurasian plate and the North American plate.
Yeah, so the Mid-Atlantic Ridge here where we're standing is a registered UNESCO World Heritage Site, so that means there's a lot of restrictions on what you can and can't do.
For my contribution, fun fact, they filmed Game of Thrones here.
Doing the width of the ridge in multiple places, I'm going to take the average and we're going to use that as our average.
We do it like so.
Make sure that you're pulling the tape measure straight when you're doing this. And I will read the number out.
So we think that this is the only UNESCO World Heritage Site on the Icelandic mainland for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's the largest part of the North Atlantic Ridge above sea level anywhere in the world, and also it's got a lot of cultural and heritage significance.
As you can see, the large geyser has just erupted. A geyser is a small hole at the surface of the Earth's crust which is connected to one or more smaller tubes which go below the surface of the land.
So as the water on the surface of the geyser cools, the hot water below tries to rise and the pressure in the tube makes the water come up at a pressurised rate.
This then prevents the convective cooling of water that's much deeper below the surface.
This geyser specifically erupts after 4 to 5 minutes.
Okay, so the frequency of the eruptions depends on the heat flux and also the length of the tubes.
Now, the longer the tubes, the higher the water pressure will be at the bottom of the geyser. The Great Geyser is considered one of Iceland's most popular tourist attractions and has now been dormant since 1916.
It erupted briefly in 1935 but then quickly went back to its dormant state.
Yeah, we're just outside the geyser part now. As you can see, there's a restaurant and loads of shops, so it's heavily commercialised. There's also quite a big car park, so there's a lot of scope for a lot of profit here, and they've obviously capitalised on all the tourists that come here.
So we're here at the Golfers waterfall.
So in terms of vegetation, we can see that on the top it's fairly barren. There is some flower species that you can see colonised the sides there. There's some down there and there.
If we actually look closely at the water that's flowing off the each of the steps of the waterfall, you can see it's got a golden tinge. And that's actually because it's carrying glacial sediment.
Size-wise, it's just over half the size of Niagara Falls, and as you can see, there's a 3-step staircase before the main descent of the water.
Okay, so we're here day 3 at the Eyjafjallajökull Centre, and we just had a look inside and we heard it was really interesting, so we're going to tell you a bit about it.
So the exhibition is focused around the volcanic eruption that happened in April 2010.
500 tons of ash were being ejected per second at its peak point.
This exhibit that we've actually just visited as well is also a paid attraction, which means that the farm owner is making money off the farm and off of this centre as well.
The main differences between the volcano that we're looking at today and the one we looked at the other day, which was the Jaime volcano, is that this one was a ash eruption, the other one was lava.
We're here on the Black Beach. We're on review. We'd say tourists are adequately informed about the hazards of going on the beach. As you can see by this huge sign, it's got a recent article about a recent tourist death that happened in 2016. I've got it, mate. I've got it, mate. Hey!
We are measuring the ablation rate. It's day 4 and we're here at a hot spring covered in mist.
We're going to be measuring the pH. Turn it on like that. We press that for the pH and that for the conductivity. We're also going to be testing the temperature, and we're going to do that for multiple sites so we can see if there's any changes. It's 8.7.
So looking at the edge of the riverbank here, you can see the rocks which get exposed to the outside, and obviously then the water gets evaporated off of them. They leave behind salt deposits. These are going to be salt deposits of multiple different types. They could be metallic salts or they could be sulfides. But yeah, you can see by the discoloration on the rocks here and the rings as well, which really display the evaporation.
We're here at Fossa. Okay.
And as you can see, there's some adverse weather conditions.
We're in a cave now. It's quite small. We're about to go through something called the squeeze.
Lava tube.
It's a lava tube.
Actually, the largest lava tube in Iceland. So our guide's just been telling us how this lava tube actually formed. And what's actually happened is as the lava's gone through, because it's quite basaltic, the roof and the walls have formed up and it's actually insulated it. The lava is still flowing through this to actually create the tube. So it's a heavy lava eruption. It's actually quite cool because what you can see is the stalagmites and stalactites on the walls as the lava's actually dripped down while it was starting to cool off.
Here we have fragments of stalagmites and stalactites.
So we asked where the water actually goes, and what we found out is that the waterfall we went to earlier today is actually being fed from the water that flows through this tube.
We are currently at the point where the North American and Eurasian plates are diverging. The Eurasian plate holds 75% of the world's population in it, although that is varied across Europe, India, China and Southeast Asia.
So we're currently stood in the ridge where the Eurasian and North American plate are actually pulling apart. We're going to be taking some measurements and then comparing them with how much that's actually changed over the years.
So you can see this substance that we're standing on that makes up the floor seems to be ground up basaltic lava.
Right, so we're now at a lava field. This lava field itself came from a fish volcano which erupted about 20 kilometres away. The lava then worked its way down over this area. The volcano's given a lot of nutrients which provides this thick bed of moss, which we can see and we are now destroying.
This is the penultimate day of the field trip. We're here at the Recordalor mountain and volcano system. What we're going to do is we're going to be walking up the side of the mountain, taking measurements with the device measuring pH and conductivity as we go up. When we get to the top, there'll be some hot springs there. We might have a little dip. And then we'll be heading back down.
Just a couple of points that we picked up from the tour guide looking around. They pump the hot water here from here to Reykjavik on 27 kilometre long tubes, and when the water is in there it is at 86 degrees centigrade, and it takes 6 hours to go from here to Reykjavik, and it only uses 2 degrees Celsius.
So we're now here at the Harper Music House, and what drew our eye to this place is just the pure form of the building and how and the architecture involved in that.
It's a very visually striking building.
You can tell that this building is probably very energy efficient, which also fits into the whole culture of everything being sort of renewable here and sort of conserving. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Sweet. Hey guys,
Memes.
day 2. Oh no, well